Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl, the Benja B. What you watching on TV? Okay, so I had started trying to review the Married at First Sight season. It's a little too much to do them episode by episode, and I think that's gonna probably be my sentiment for most of the love shows that I'll be looking at and watching. What I've decided to do is just kind of talk about the couples as they stand. And so, at the time that I'm recording this right now, 15 episodes in, y'all. Okay, so we can spend some time getting to know these fools. And the first couple I want to talk about specifically is going to be Mecca and BelleJolie. Mecca is, I forget how old he is. I don't care. And I forgot how old BelleJolie is too. I don't care. But I would say they're fairly young. They may be late 20s, early 30s. Mecca is a sanitation worker, but don't judge him because now he's working for the family company, right? He worked for a family owned company. And BelleJolie, I believe she is a singer, although I don't know if she makes her living that way. So the couple therapy people decided to match them up would be a good idea. Now, what I will say about them as a couple is initially, I thought they were very cute, right? I thought they were adorable. I think they matched very well, aesthetically, anyway. My main concern was with Mecca's father. Mecca's father seems to be quite the asshole. As I have been watching this season over time, you know, the people, the interwebs ain't no joke. You know what I'm saying? They do their little research and they report it back to the people. So what we know is Mecca's father has been enraveled in a few little controversies around the way where they live. He worked for a school department, which is very weird to me. Just observing him as a human being in a few minutes that we saw him at the top of the show. I don't know that I would have that nigga around no children that belong to me. I'm just saying. His father seems to be not the greatest example of what it would be to be a well functioning human being. Also, Mecca walked into this with some severe mama issues. Apparently, when he was a little bitty boy, his mama just walked out and just left him there with his daddy. And his daddy then actually remarried, and there was some children with that lady. Now, I don't know if they was his daddy and the lady's children, or if the lady had the children before they got together. That part I'm not too clear on. But however, there was kind of a happy family situation when they were all together. But the woman ended up leaving daddy again. So this is the second woman that's done stepped out and done left daddy's ass in that dust, and she took her babies with her. Now, Mecca seems to have been affected by this greatly, which I can imagine being a thing, right? You a kid, you got your little family set up, and then everybody just dipped. That's got to be a little traumatic, honestly. Now, BelleJolie has a similar background, except it was the opposite for her, right? Her father left. So she was raised by her mother. Apparently, her mama had 5 kids and raised them, and they was very, very poor. She said they used to didn't have no lights and shit sometime, and like it was really bad for her as she was growing up as far as they economic status was concerned. It's not that hard to believe. I mean, you know, if you one person footing the bill for all the things, and then you got 5 people that's looking at you starving, like that's a lot of pressure. BelleJolie have her own little trauma that she coming to this with too. Them as a couple, again, like I said, together they look good. It looks good, but when they first connect, we have this very strange situation where Mecca is laying in the bed with her one, but he actually asks her who is attracted to who more, which when I first heard him ask her that, I thought, what a weird ass question. I don't think I've ever asked anybody that I've dealt with in my past, were you attracted to me more? Or do you think I was attracted to you more? What a pompous, narcissistic, and I hate using the word narcissist because everybody done learned that word and like to throw it around and shit. But that is just such a bullshit ass question. I'm like, why the fuck would he ask her that? Turns out Mecca got the same little disorder or condition that a lot of these shitty ass incompetent ass people have, where they want to try to humble you if you look fairly settled in your spirit and you seem to have a healthy sense of confidence. Not necessarily overly confident, but a healthy sense of self. You know, there are people that will actively try to destroy that shit. Mecca is definitely one of those individuals. Apparently he wanted to make her feel shitty or something. I'm not really sure what his motivation was, but he wanted to make her feel shitty, and it worked. It worked. Belle is very patient with him. I think that she is instantly able to acknowledge the trauma that he comes from, and She's been very slow to judge or chastise him in those moments. Good for her. Good for her. Good for her. She's patient with him, and she's gonna be patient and let him grow into his maturity. So I guess that's a beautiful thing as far as she's concerned. And honestly, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I admire her for that because there are some of us who are not with the bullshit. And even if we can exercise some patience, you still may stand to get your ass cussed out. That is a thing. Angry black woman, call it what the fuck you will, whatever you want to title it or label it as. Lots of us are not gonna go for that shit, and so we do be labeled as angry and all that kind of stuff. That's fine. Call it what you will. But I will say, I don't judge her. I don't think it's dumb or stupid or none of that shit. Not yet. After that little incident happens, now the married at first sight couples, they all kind of meet up every now and then, every few episodes. I guess they all get together and have a dinner and they kind of go over their progression and they talk about where they at and how things have been developing in their little new relationships and stuff. And so they go to a dinner one night. Now at this dinner, Mecca had the nerve to say she wasn't that pretty to him. Again, one of those moments to where it's like, okay, even if you think that, why would you say that in front of all of these people? Why would y'all have that discussion in front of well, it was something like he wasn't attracted to her. Basically, the conversation that he and her had in private, he decides that they're gonna talk about it in front of the couples. Well, I don't know. Maybe she brought it up. Maybe they were talking about, some of the little points of contention they had. She could have brought that up. In any case, they talk about it with the couples, and it's just like this dude is like on a never ending mission to embarrass the shit out this girl. And so I think Belle, I think she's very mature about it, right? She's basically like, well, he feels like shit about himself. And so I guess he wants me to feel like shit too, which I would say that is a very fair assessment of the situation. But then one has to wonder, how long are we going to exercise all this patience and empathy for this motherfucker? Like, how long are we gonna say, there, girl, you didn't have no mama? It's okay if you verbally annihilate me whenever you have a shitty or funky mood. How long is we gonna go for that? Child. Anyway, there's been little spots of consistent efforts on his part to try to make her feel bad. And I think what it makes me think of as I'm watching this as a slightly seasoned woman myself, I have seen some things, okay? And what I would say is that I believe this is why there are a healthy number of women as they get older who decide that they're not going to play these motherfucking reindeer games with you. Ain't nothing wrong with Belle. She is gorgeous for all intents and purposes. Like, I think she is so very cute. She's slim. She's fit. She's got a big, beautiful smile. She's got the pretty eyes. Her face and her teeth is straight. Like, she is very cute. It ain't shit wrong with the way that girl looks. But he wants to make her feel less than for some very strange reason. Now, there's another little rumor that's going on the interwebs where people are speculating that Mecca might be homosexual. I mean, I think that's possible. Now, I know I have said many times myself that I believe that there are very, very many men who are homosexual. They're just scared to take the dick. So they have to masquerade in these heterosexual relationships while they are in love with their homeboys and shit. Like, it goes down. People are complicated. So it's no judgments, but shit be what it be. You know what I'm saying? But I will say in his defense, I don't necessarily pick that up from Mecca. I don't pick up the homosexual thing. What I do pick up is that he just don't like black ladies. I think he just really don't. He's not really a fan of the black women. He definitely is not a fan of the one he was matched with. And he even have like these little microaggressions toward Nikki, who was a part of the cast with her man Sean. And I promise we're gonna talk about them too, for sure. But he even is a little rough with her with the way he understands and just kind of the way he says things to her. And I think he just don't like black ladies. I think that's really a thing. I think it happens. I really personally, I'm not offended by it. I don't give a fuck. I feel like you can like who you want to like. If you made it all the black ladies because your mama was one, then I mean that's your cross to carry. You know what I'm saying? It don't bother me. But that kind of feel like what we're dealing with. I think it's kind of weird and it's a little lazy to always lean towards somebody being gay because they're not attracted to you. Like, I don't think that's necessarily a thing, right? But he is very, very, very undesirable. Now, also, we have to take into account who raised him too. if you observe his father for an extended amount of time, it is not very hard to see that he comes from asshole territory. So he might think he being perfectly normal, or he may have watched his father carry out these acts with other women. But it seems like he would learn if all them bitches was leaving all the time. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't like that shit. As it stands now, we end up going now to a couples retreat. And so the couples retreat actually, instead of the dinner where they meet up every now and then, they actually go in the house. I think they stay there for like a weekend. It's like a couple days. It don't last that long. But all the couples are in there. And so the dudes break off and the girls break off and they all just kind of talk, compare notes and shit. You know, they also play some games that get very messy for some of the couples. And we're going to talk about that too. Tori and Felipe. While he was having his conversations, he made it very clear to some of the dudes that BelleJolie was not his type. He was not attracted to her. She wasn't thick enough for him. She was not his dream girl. Like, he is just very blatantly dismissive, and he's just very shitty when it comes to her. You know, he's not even graceful. And so that's how you know he's trying to be a piece of shit. Because it's not like he's saying things like, well, you know, initially I wasn't attracted. I think she's a sweet girl, but maybe I don't feel the romantic relationship part with her as much as I would like to. I mean, he's not even graceful enough to try to articulate it if it's that. I don't think it's that. I think he thinks she fine in the motherfucker. I think he thinks that she is very cute and she is quite the catch. But you know what else I think? I think he just like a lot of other pieces of shit ass assholes who don't want her, but don't want nobody else to have her neither. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Finally, at the little couples retreat, BelleJolie done had enough, and she kind of confronts him after she learns this information from one of the other girls on the cast. That he basically said that he wished he had bigger tits, which I don't really think that's what he said. I think that's just how that got lost in translation because of who he was conversing with. In any case, she goes back to him and is basically like, you know, I'm tired of you embarrassing me and I'm tired of you talking shit to me. She even handled him kind of rough when they got home from one of them dinners before we got to the retreat, where he was like berating her at dinner, talking shit to her at dinner. And then it's like he wanted her to be upset when they got home. He wanted her to talk to him about how she felt. Well, how are you feeling? How are you feel? Like, bitch ass nigga, you know how I'm feeling. Like, why is you like something wrong? Like, Lord, I don't know. Watching things like this makes many of us very happy that we do not have to deal with it. Now, those of you all who are in these perfect unions and shit, and you've got these wonderful relationships, I think that's a beautiful thing. I think it's a beautiful thing. I'm so grateful, and it's wonderful that you found each other. But 9 times out of 10, you are probably dealing with some shit on a regular, everyday basis that I definitely do not envy. Me personally, I'm just talking about me. I just mean me. I can't speak for the people. Um, but it's just really, it's almost sadistic. It's sadistic in a way that don't involve blood, gore, or body parts, right? But it's sadistic. It's like he wants her to be upset and angry with him, or just uncomfortable. It's like he feeds on her being uncomfortable. And she is uncomfortable, but she's holding herself well, and she haven't even leaned into the angry black woman, cuss you out, throw shit at you, beat you up, slap shit out you. She ain't done none of that, which I think he's kind of fishing for. Also, I think he wants her to respond in that way, so he could say, "See, unreasonable. I can't deal with it." You know, he's on that type of weird mental gymnastic type bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Child. Anyway, that's Mecca and BelleJolie. We getting towards the end of it. It looks like Belle is still trying to be a little patient with him. I do think her patience is wearing thin. He seems to be coming to his little senses, and he's like, you know, she's a great girl and all these things. Honestly, my prediction for them, they ain't gonna make it. They ain't gonna make it. They're not gonna make it. I don't know if they want to just ride this shit out because they on TV and they don't want to leave the cast early because then they're gonna short themselves out of some kind of pay on the paycheck or something. I don't know what the fuck the objective is in sitting through this bullshit when we know that they could end this at any time. But I really believe that's what's happening. I think they're gonna try to ride it out to the end or to decision day, just so they can say they completed the whole process. But I don't think they're gonna make it. I think Belle gonna get sick of his ass. And as a matter of fact, as much shit as he's talking about her, she gonna probably have quite a few people in her DMs waiting on her when she get up out that thing. So Belle is not reduced to this bullshit like sometimes folks want you to think you is, right? She's definitely gonna have her some options coming up out of her. So I don't think they're gonna make it. Even on their own volition, I don't think they're gonna make it. But I definitely hope they don't make it because nobody needs to be subjected to a lifetime of mental abuse. That's worse than getting punched in your shit every day. Nobody wants you talking shit to them and trying to be mean and shit all the time, nigga. Get out. I guess that's all I got to say about that shit, y'all. I'm your girl, the Binge and B. I'm finna go find me something else to watch on TV. Bye.